The headlines. Prime Minister Honorable Jeremiah Manile calls on the country to reflect on Christ's life during this Christmas season. 95% of the Solomon Islands population supports the move of implementing temporary special measures at the provincial government level. And independent leader Honorable Peter Kenny Lorea Jr. calls for land reforms in the country to be focused and inclusive of the law. Hello, you're watching SIBC's TV News Bulletin. I'm Andrea Mahanwa. Prime Minister Honorable Jeremiah Manile wishes the country a blessed Christmas season. Honorable Manile, during his Christmas national address, calls on the country to reflect on Christ's life throughout this festive season.
So during this Christmas, let us celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, the Messiah and the promised King, who would set the world free of sin and death once and for all. Fellow Solomon Islanders, let us use this Christmas period as a time for deep spiritual reflection on the transformational foundations of our Christian faith and celebrate this Christmas as a time when we as Christians celebrate God's fathomless love for the world through the birth, the death, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ, who paid for our salvation.
Prime Minister Manile adds this Christmas season is a season for giving and sharing.
A season for giving and sharing, from supporting people in need in our communities to reaching out to neighbors who are sick, lonely, or who are in need during this Christmas. A time to acknowledge that Christ's birth did not only brighten our world, it transformed our lives as well. A time to reflect collectively on our application of God's love in our families, workplaces, and our beloved nation. And a time to recommit our lives to Christ and invite God's Holy Spirit to dwell within us and transform us into His earthly vessels.
Still on the Christmas celebrations, the Twinkle Town Lights Festival joined others around the country to welcome Christmas Day yesterday. Sharon Anau reports.
The Twinkle Town Light Festival joined others around the country to welcome Christmas Day yesterday. The Solomon Islands National University, in collaboration with Reveal Pacifica Media Pro, Kuchi's Lighting and Straight Street Production, is hosting the Twinkle Town Lights Festival. Held at Sinufopa Village, co-founder of the festival, Limal Totogi, says the event aims to provide a safe and conducive environment for families to celebrate the Christmas season.
Thank you too much. So the idea came about time if I look around and the festive season was coming, and if I look at no anywhere where families and other pikinini and also have a garden place for go, hang out, have fun and kind of same. So two fellow friends below me and me. Kuchi's Lighting, where I'm owned by Keith, and then Straight Street Productions, which I'm owned by Andrew. So we three na work together for come up with an idea for how na we make a place where families have come enjoy Christmas or festive season. So that's why we came up with the idea of let's make a lights festival, because Kuchi's Lighting have good lightings, Milo Multimedia, Andrew Multimedia. So putting our ideas together, we thought we would make a very good conducive environment for what families have enjoyed. It's a festive season. So that's how the idea came about. So we look for venue and kind of same, and then we came to Sinu. Time if I share him na idea one time hotel Sinu, the management was really keen and happy for wakawai. So we sign a partnership with them for providing venue and utilities. And Mifal na come set him up lights for the venue. Him na how everything come into place. It just about over 3 weeks no my idea putting together wakalem and start building lo Saturday night. Today him and then lo yesterday Monday him barava happen. So Mifal open up yesterday.
He says the event, which kick-started on the 23rd of December, will close after the 1st of January 2025.
The event is called Twinkle Town. Yeah? Lights. Yeah, so the event will run from the 23rd of December right up until January number 1, and then by open every day at around 6 o'clock. for lights them on. But prior to that, food stalls auto open before that. But the light itself by on time darkness, so 6 o'clock. Then I finish around 10:30 night every night. From number 23 all the way up to number 1. So new countdown, everything lo yellow Twinkle Town.
Mr. Totogi adds they are working closely with the police and Sino security to ensure everyone is safe at the festival.
So with them that one, safety is guaranteed lo here. This vicinity is fenced. Mifa garem 24-hour security lo here. With them help lo police and securities lo Sino. Mifa do checks lo gate for shops for anything that is harmful. It's a alcohol-free event. Smoking zones lo here. So it's a very safe and conducive environment for you to spend the evening with the family. Also, there's music, live entertainments, movie nights lo here. So if you have nothing to do or nowhere to go for spending festive season come down to Twinkle Town noma. For you enjoy lights, music, food, and fun normally.
Sharon Nanal, SIBC TV.
95% of the Solomon Islands population supports the move of implementing temporary special measures at the provincial government level. The Democratic Coalition Government for Advancement in 2023 endorsed a proposed amendment to the Provincial Government Amendment Bill 2018 that will establish temporary special measures to guarantee additional seats for women in provincial assemblies. Mary Maniligua with the details.
95% of the Solomon Islands population supports the move of implementing temporary special measures to start at the provincial government level. Minister of Women, Youth, Children and Family Affairs, Honorable Frida Tuki, revealed in Parliament. She said consultation was carried out throughout the country to gauge the public's position on the issue.
Mr. Speaker, in terms of temporary special measures under women in leadership, we did a survey throughout the country and 95% of our population has opted for temporary measures to start at provincial assemblies. The good news is all 9 provincial assemblies have endorsed their support to TSM to be included in Provincial Government Act amendment. I want to thank the UN Women, DFAT, RAM, National Council of Women for their funding and support. DCGA government last year has endorsed cabinet paper for amendment to be made on the Provincial Government Act and to incorporate temporary special measures into provincial government.
She adds, in terms of gender mainstreaming, 7 provinces have already developed their gender policies. She said next year they are looking to ensure the 3 remaining provinces developed theirs.
In terms of gender mainstreaming, 7 provinces have already had their own gender equality policy, and next year we will be working on 3 provinces to develop their own gender equality policies. Mr. Speaker, in terms of gender responsive budgeting, we have started, and in coming years we hope the 5 or 6 ministries should include gender budgeting in their recurrent budget so that women's group can also access funding from these ministries.
Mary Maniligua, SIBC TV.
Independent leader Honorable Peter Kenny Lorea Jr. calls for land reforms in the country to be focused and inclusive of the law. Sharon Nanal with the details.
Independent leader Honorable Peter Ken Lore Jr. calls for land reforms in the country to be focused and inclusive of the law. Honorable Ken Lore Jr. told Parliament the real issue of land reforms comes when the law element comes into play in the land reform processes. He said if carried out properly, Solomon Islanders can benefit from the process and also be protected by it.
One of the things that I keep hearing over the course of Parliament, the last year, even at the last 11th Parliament as well, is land reform. Mr. Speaker, sir. This is very important. But I am, for one, I'm always hesitant to just call it land reform. I always like to put law in there, land law reform. Because land reform to me doesn't mean anything. What do you mean when you say land reform? You mean reform of land how? For me, the real issue, the real crux of it is actually land law reform. We have land law reforms. And I think to focus on that would be better. We have land law, both at the common law level, but also at the customary level. How do we marry those better? That would best help our people to use their land and resources for their own benefits, and yet at the same time provide the right amount of protection for our people as well. It's always important to also play that role of protecting our people. As a responsible government, Mr. Speaker, sir, that should be in all our policies, protecting our people and our resources. We are Solomon Islanders, Mr. Speaker, sir.
He said government is fortunate to be led by indigenous leaders who have connection to the land. He adds the current government can look into developing a process in which development can take place in a manner that protects both investors and customary landowners.
One of the policy that GNAT could perhaps look into is to focus on how we can address access to natural resources. Put in a process that will allow hearings, consultations, when there's a development happening in a customary area, customary land area. We know this happens during the timber utilization hearings for logging operations. We have hearings. We know that there is perhaps ad hoc, one that happens during access to mining, for companies to access the mining site in the discussions on access agreement and royalties. But I think there needs to be something in place that would guide us whenever there is something that needs to be done on customary land under the name of development. Perhaps a law that needs to be in place that has all the processes in black and white, has all the time frames in black and white, has all the times for objections, all the times for hearings, and there is an outcome at the end of a period. Because I think that's only fair to investors, that they know that there's a process they'll have to go through, but there will be an outcome in a given time frame.
Sharon Nanal, SIBC TV.
The Ministry of Education and Human Resources Development's Permanent Secretary, Dr. Franco Rodi, has endorsed the release of the Year 6 to Year 7 Form 1 placement results. Mary Manilagua with the details.
The Ministry of Education and Human Resources Permanent Secretary, Dr. Franco Rodi, has endorsed the release of the Year 6 to Year 7 Form 1 placement results to education providers, schools and the public. Mr. Rodi made the declaration on Monday, 23rd of December 2024 in accordance with the Year 6 to Year 7 Placement Guidelines 2019. This year's Year 7 placement shows a record of 12,668 students, of which 6,482 are females and 6,186 are males, from 739 primary schools, including extension schools, across the country. For primary schools that have not submitted their 2024 class application and ranking forms for placement, especially from the Malaita Outer Islands, pupils from those primary schools will be placed in the community high schools. MEHRD is pleased to see 100% transition rate of Year 6 students to Year 7. The ministry acknowledges all Year 6 primary school teachers in the country for their role in conducting continuous classroom assessments throughout 2024 to ensure the pupils are assessed and the performances are tracked. Mary Manelegua, SIBC TV.
SafeNet this year has begun the process of establishing its operations in the country's 9 provinces. Minister of Women, Youth, Children and Family Affairs, Honorable Frida Tuki, announced in Parliament last week. She said on the issue of protecting victims and survivors of sexual and gender-based violence, Solomon Islands is the first country to have a domestic violence counseling guideline and policy in the Pacific.
We began the process of establishing 9 provinces SafeNets, including Honiara City Council and 1 more to go, which is Renbel Province. We will establish it next year, 2025. Mr. Speaker says Solomon Island is the first country in the Pacific to have a domestic violence counseling guideline policy, and this year we have started implementing of counseling guidelines, and we have created a registry to register qualified counselors. Mr. Speaker, we would like to thank the Australian government to help fund this domestic violence counseling guideline policy, which we are training counsellors and registering them.
Honorable Tuki adds SafeNet this year has increased its membership to 12.
1, SafeNet. Mr. Speaker, we have expanded to 12 membership as we have a strong overarching board which is called CARECOM. This SafeNet is to provide security, protection, medical accommodation, legal and counseling services to victims and survivors of violence. And these 12 members provided his services. And Mr. Speaker, these members are Ministry of Health and Medical Services, Ministry of Police, Ministry of Women, Youth, Children and Family Affairs, Family Support Center, Christian Care Center, Solomon Islands Parenthood Association, Honiara City Council, Social Welfare Division, Director of Public Prosecution Office, Hope Trust, Immigration Division, and Safe Place.
The Solomon Islands SafeNet is a referral network made up of organizations that provide essential services to victims and survivors of sexual and gender-based violence. A total of 20 new schools will begin their academic year in 2025 across the country. Sharon Anau reports.
A total of 20 new schools will begin their academic year in 2025 across the country. Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development has approved the commencement of these schools for next year. Minister Honorable Tozen Leokana informed Parliament.
In terms of establishing new schools, my ministry have approved a total of 20 schools to commence in 2025. Of these, 3 are new primary schools, 1 RTC and 9 secondary schools who have approved to commence Year 7 classes, and 7 existing secondary schools to offer Year 10 classes. Similar trends were noted which establishment of new schools this recent year, indicating the need to cater for outgrowing school population needing education.
He adds that the ministry has registered over 1,000 schools, including early childhood centres, primary schools, national secondary schools and rural training centres.
Therefore, the total number, Mr. Speaker, of schools that we have to date under ECE centres that the ministry has registered is about 1,414 ECEs. There are 1,414 registered schools. ECEs made up of 512. We have 315 standalone primary schools. We have 493 community high schools and 60 secondary schools, 16 PSS and 10 national secondary schools with 52 other DCs.
Sharon Nanal, SIBC TV.
And now the latest in sports with Crofton Lutukana.
the country's Iron Lady, Jenlyn Winnie, has confirmed that she will be competing for the final time at the Pacific Mini Games, scheduled to take place in Palau next year. In an interview with SIBC Sports, Ms. Winnie expressed her excitement and gratitude for the opportunity to represent her country one last time at this prestigious regional event.
Well, long time Pacific game, misalnya last South Pacific game, but mini game misalnya normal, but me still continue. So this one I think last mini game belum ini, this one lupa lah ya. So for sure by last mini game belum.
She also revealed that the national squad has already begun their rigorous preparations for the upcoming games. And with the event fast approaching, the team is committed to enhancing their skills and strategies to ensure the best possible performance.
So MIFA weightlifting, MIFA garam finish squad after competition from MIFA lalu July. Yeah? So squad have continue training with normal training, and MIFA just finish normal junior and youth competition. We have online. And junior and youth from MIFA Ota training well, and me happy about the result lo kita. And training him was normal this month and so preparation for MIFA and MIFA look forward for a mini game.
Crofton Utukana, SIBC TV.
And that's news. Follow us on sibconline.com.sb and our SIBC News Facebook page for more of our latest stories. From the SIBC TV News team, we want to wish you all a blessed Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching.